staying healthy, staying sexy, staying young is what living life is all about. And if you have doctors that have proven treatments that keep people young and healthy so they don't get sick, you want people to know about these treatments and that they exist.
This episode is brought to you by GainsWave. GainsWave is a treatment done at your doctor's office to optimize erection quality without the need of Viagra, Cialis. It's non-surgical, there's no needles, and it has an amazing success rate. To find a GainsWave provider, go to gainswave.com. That's GAINSWAVE.com. Hello, this is Mark L. White with Health Hacks, and welcome to our first post-COVID live show. So that's why we have this like 6 feet of distance. But I'm happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So Jacque Tarlton is a plant chick. By the way, what is a plant chick?
A plant chick is an empowered woman who eats predominantly plant-based. We exercise. We have an incredible community of women uplifting and supporting one another, and we have a lot of fun.
So how did have you always, I assume that you guys have a plant-based diet. That's what like binds you guys, but what was it that encouraged you to put together this community?
Well, it's I'm glad that you're asking this question because the story is always the fascinating part. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and my family always had these healthy meals, and the healthy meals, we always had
beef and cows.
Yes. And my healthy meals was always centered around beef or chicken, not so much fish. Always had a big glass of milk, we always did have some kind of vegetables and a whole grain for dinner. So I grew up having an interest in health and like healthy lifestyles. And in college, I actually got my degree in nutrition. So I'm a registered dietitian by training. But growing up in Kansas, this might come shocking to you. There's not a lot to do in Kansas. So I actually started drinking alcohol at a very young age, like 13 or 14. That's super young, right? Yeah. So but this actually became a problem. There was one semester in college that I did not drink very much. And that was when I had an eating disorder. I was anorexic in college. So my drinking progressed, my eating became healthier and cleaner, and I started learning more and more about it because I practiced as a registered dietitian. And the dietitian that trained me back in the early 90s, I'm a little bit older, so she actually was vegan because plant-based was not a term back then. And she introduced me to like the Dean Ornish, T. Colin Campbell, Caldwell Esselstyn. These are like the key opinion leaders in the plant-based world, and they've done so much for like moving science forward in the health benefits of a plant-based diet.
Well, what's the difference, by the way? You say like vegan, plant-based wasn't a term then, but vegan was. I thought vegan was relatively new. Like, what's the difference between somebody who's plant-based and somebody who's vegan?
And that's a really good question. So vegan is ethical and plant-based is nutritional. And at Plant Chicks, we aren't here to tell you not to wear leather or what kind of car to drive. We're here to empower you to live the healthiest, best, most effective life that gives you the most energy.
You're not a PETA girl.
I'm not a PETA girl. But hey, I actually am like leaning towards the ethical vegan side, but that's not what we teach at Plant Chicks at all. We're all about lifestyle and having health and having happiness and having boundaries as well.
So a lot of people who, first of all, how big is the community?
We have a couple thousand women.
Wow.
Yeah, and on Instagram, we're growing, but our Plant Chicks tribe, which is our small community, not small, but our growing community on Facebook, it's women only. We're about almost 2,000 in our Plant Chicks tribe today, but that changes daily.
So what is it about empowering women versus empowering everyone? Like what's the purpose behind that?
The only reason is because my business partner and we both have a strong connection with women, and we've always just mostly worked with women. We do have some plant dudes around.
I like that, plant dudes.
Yeah, we got some plant dudes. It's good. And actually, one of your doctors with GainsWave, he's one of our plant dudes, Dr. Joel Kahn.
Oh, really?
In Michigan.
Yeah, I know Dr. Kahn, great guy.
Of course, yeah, he's amazing.
So I have a secret. I became kind of a plant dude back in February. Haven't touched steak or chicken And I feel great. I've been eating nothing but, and I've tried to cut out dairy. I've eaten a little fish. I don't know if that counts. Like if you eat fish, are you not a plant dude or?
Well, this is the thing. When you're a plant chick or a plant dude, you're 90% whole food plant-based and 10% soul food. So 10%, if that wants to be chicken every once in a while or a little bit of dairy every now and then you could still be considered a plant dude. And that's one of the things that people are drawn to us. It's because even though our programs, because we do have nutrition and fitness programs, and they are 100% whole food plant-based, there's no animal products in them. But just because Marcia and I, my business partner, just because we're plant-based doesn't mean that everyone who comes to us is going to be 100% plant-based. So we work with 3 types of women. We work with the plant curious, part-time plant chicks, and the plant-based pros. And the plant curious people are the women who are interested. They've heard the benefits of eating a whole food plant-based diet, but they're not quite sure what it's all about. And they don't want to be vegan. They don't want to be plant-based, but they want to learn more. So that's the plant curious. Part-time plant chick would be kind of like what you're describing, where you do eat some fish, some dairy sometimes, or maybe you're eating more vegan junk food. And then a plant-based pro is someone who is in it, but they don't necessarily have all the support at home that they need.
Okay, so what is vegan junk food? Chips?
Vegan junk food. Oh, yes. We have chips, soda, Oreo, all of these things. See, also like Impossible Burgers, the food technology is so incredibly amazing, but the Impossible Burger, the Beyond Burgers, they're good because they don't have cholesterol and they're actually good for environmental purposes, but they're not good for health reasons. So one thing that we need to ask ourselves is, when is the last time that you had a hamburger or a cheeseburger and you thought it was healthy?
The last time I had a hamburger and cheeseburger and didn't feel like crap after eating it, it's been a while. I've had a few Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers. I actually like those because they don't make you sick afterwards.
No, they're tasty. I actually like them too. But literally, when you think about eating a hamburger, a hot dog, these are not health foods. So when the vegan brands come in, like the Impossible Burger, the Beyond Burger, these are not health foods. They're soul foods, and they're okay to have occasionally, but we have to really watch out with moderation because moderation can kill.
Well, why did 10 years ago, you didn't hear plant-based diet and the Whole30 movement? Vegan's been around for a while. Vegetarian, they just came out with Game Changers, I guess, 8 or 9 months ago or last year. But why now? Like, why not 20 years ago? Why not 30 years ago? Why is this taking off?
People are waking up, seriously. And it's actually starting to be studied more and more. Like Dean Ornish back in the 90s, mid-90s, he was doing different studies looking at following a very low-fat, very strict vegan diet and exercising, doing yoga, meditating, doing all these things. But it's taken 30 years. And now there's actually a heart lifestyle medicine heart protocol where people, instead of going to cardiac rehab, they can go into this. It's a lifestyle medicine, and it's actually getting reimbursed in hospitals. It's big.
What was the book? There was a book, I think it was the China Syndrome or the China Study. China Syndrome is the movie, something else. China Study, I think like that was kind of where they studied Asians who, when they started making more money, they started eating beef and they noticed a lot more diseases. Now, if somebody's been a beef eater their whole life, what are the benefits? Why should somebody why, if they say, I love my steak, I love my chicken, why would they change?
That's a loaded question, and I love it. And you're talking to a Kansas girl at heart. So I'm like cattle country, chicken, steak. My favorite meat was hamburgers and steaks that my dad made. So one of the things that we have to ask ourselves, what's more important? Is our health, is our longevity? Because we can look at like the last 10 years of life, and do we want to spend the last 10 years of our life in a wheelchair having someone feed us? Or do we want to be able to be walking and playing with grandchildren, feeding ourselves, traveling, seeing the world, and doing amazing things? And literally what we do today impacts what our health today and tomorrow. So it's really, it's critical. And there's so like the food technology, the food innovation, and just straight up plants. The plants are delicious. And it's not easy. Most people, when they start eating more plants, it's very rare that someone will go from like eating hamburgers and steaks and chicken one day to the next day going to a 100% whole food plant-based diet. It can take time, and time like up to years.
The thing that was interesting for me was it woke up my taste buds. You start to appreciate vegetables. You start to appreciate the variety, from a veggie pad thai to like a good veggie fried rice. I noticed that you actually like vegetables more. Your taste buds change. But at the same time, diet isn't going to just do everything. Like there are people that, like you said, I'm vegan. I'll eat Oreos and I'll eat chips. They're eating a lot of refined sugar. They're living an unhealthy lifestyle. What else are you doing to encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle?
So this is crucial because there's not a one size fits all for everybody. And there's not just one thing that's like the magic ingredient. Sleep, honestly, is the number one thing that we can do. Like if you are struggling with weight, because a lot of our clients come to us with weight loss, and that's not what we like to focus on. We prefer to focus on a goal lifestyle versus a goal weight. But sleep, getting enough sleep, and there's some incredible books on sleep. Ariana Huffington, who's Huffington Post, she wrote an incredible book, The Sleep Revolution. And once she realized that how sleep was impacting her life in a negative way because she wasn't getting enough, her life has completely changed. And Sean Stevenson, he also wrote Sleep Smarter. And that is an incredible book. Sleep is when, and you guys know this, but sleep is when our body repairs and rebuilds and regenerates and renews. So it's really, really important. You have your clients coming in, they're taking medication, they're going to the gym, or they're working out. But if they're not getting enough sleep, then they're not going to be able to build the muscle that they're wanting to build. They're not going to be able, the medications are not even going to be as effective if they're not getting adequate sleep. So sleep is the number one thing we look at. Nutrition is the next thing. And just like you said, even though some people might be, say, vegans, because we get a lot of people coming to us that are vegan and they want to learn how to eat more plant-based. A lot of times people are eating crap, which is calorie-rich and processed foods. So that's the Oreos, the chips.
Processed foods.
Yes,
Got it.
yeah. Isn't that a good one?
I love it.
Yeah, so we have to get less crap in our diet and more whole food. So we just slowly work with our clients and get them to eat more real whole foods and start like edging off the plate the crap and some of the higher fat food items.
Going back to sleep, how much sleep does the average person? They say 7 hours, but what if you only sleep 5 hours a night? How do you force yourself to sleep if your body's not telling you you're not tired?
Right, and this is a big one because we work with a lot of physicians who even work night shifts and stuff. And people that are more stressed or in higher profile positions, they actually probably need sleep more than those that are not. And one of the things that keeps them going is stress. And we have to learn different ways to decrease stress by meditating, by exercising. Yeah, and that literally people need to get into an evening routine. It's cutting back on the electronics or watching TV for like the last hour or two before they go to bed, because that can help like relax you and get you into a better frame of mind. Turning down the AC, making it cool in your apartment or in your home at night, taking a cold shower before you go to bed. These things will all help you to sleep better. And then also waking up naturally versus an alarm, which is not the ideal.
So you mentioned that you used to drink alcohol at 13. Are you still drinking?
No. So the rest of my story, it goes like this. I practiced as a dietitian for several years, and then I ended up getting into medical sales, traveled the world, had an amazing time. But when I got into medical sales, I just kind of lost sight of how much I love about lifestyle medicine and exercise and nutrition. I became more unhealthy, and I was entertaining doctors. I was having the time of my life. But they do, and you get a lot of business done at some of those conferences. But literally, I finally like tapped out. I just had enough. And May 15, 2012, I went into recovery, and I haven't drank since then. But it was when I went into recovery, I was just thinking I was going to stop drinking or learn how to drink like a normal person. I didn't realize that I had to like relearn my entire life. And it was in recovery that I went back, and my passion is lifestyle medicine and getting healthy through my lifestyle, through my sleep, through my exercise, through my nutrition, through the people I surround myself with, getting healthy that way versus going directly to a medication. And there's nothing wrong with medication, because sometimes medication, surgery, sometimes these things are 100% needed, but there's a lot that we can do on our own or in addition to the medications that are available.
Okay, so you stopped drinking. Congratulations. You're helping people with diet, with exercise. What's the vision for the whole community? Like, do you get a lot of people? Like, first of all, how do they learn about the community? It's an online community.
Yeah, word of mouth, literally. And we're constantly partnering with different physicians, different organizations, doing different challenges. So if a woman or man, if anyone is interested, if the dude, exactly, if anyone is interested in learning more about a healthy lifestyle, then they can reach out to us. They can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, our TikTok's blowing up. Ours blown up, but we're Plant Chicks, PLANTCHICS, and that's a great way.
Get the K, huh?
No K, because we're plant chic from the beach to the streets.
I like that. Plant chic from the beach to the street. And you're also a wellness coach, a well coach. What does a well coach do?
It's interesting. It was after I got sober, I went to, because I'm always constantly like trying to learn more and like better myself. But I went to a forum, and it was in that forum that I saw how crucial coaching is. And for you or for any of the listeners, if you were an athlete, you had a coach. Look at professional athletes. They have nutrition coaches. They've got strength coaches. They have all kinds of different coaches.
Just for business people.
Absolutely. There's so many different coaches. But it was when I went, and I actually had a coach myself, it was then that I saw the importance of having a coach, because a coach can help you uncover so many different things that are holding you back, because we don't know what we don't know. So it's actually good to work with a coach to uncover different things so we can become better.
That's awesome. I really, I find it fascinating. I think it's amazing what you're doing. It's amazing how you're helping people, amazing how you're helping women. Plant chic, no K. What's next?
What's next? We have a couple of virtual summits that we're doing, because everything's online right now. We're doing a summit. I'll have to get you a link for the show notes, but we're doing a virtual summit with all the big plant-based physicians and chefs and energy experts and all kinds of, we've got a couple talks. That's the end of August, Food is Medicine Summit and Expo. And then we're also doing another plant-based summit, another virtual summit in September. We're constantly doing challenges because people are like, I don't know what to do now, and they get bored. So every month we're doing a new challenge. And in September, we are going to be rolling out our cellular cleanse. We'll be relaunching our cellular cleanse. It's an all-you-can-eat cleanse, but we'll be doing that in addition to Prolon fasting mimicking diet, which is amazing for anti-aging.
Do you think that, like, right now we're in the middle of the pandemic, or both in South Florida, which is the middle of the pandemic? In general, like, do you find your community that's harder for them to stay healthy? Do they need the community more than ever? Are people falling off the proverbial wagon more?
Excellent question. People need the community more now. And we've actually had more engagement. I'm getting goosebumps. We've had more engagement since the pandemic happened and the quarantine happened. People are so engaged, so motivated. They're checking in daily. It's so powerful. It's beautiful. But that's one of the things, because a lot of people are feeling very isolated and they don't want to reach out. But that's exactly when you do need to reach out. 100%.
Yeah, the isolation, and that's the other thing about like health and wellness. And study after study shows people who are isolated, people who don't have a family or a tribe, they die younger, they're unhealthier, their immune systems are worse.
Absolutely. Tribe community is so important. And that's one of the things that we really promote in our tribe is community. Because our Plant Chicks tribe, we're about nutrition and exercise and fun, but we've had women post in the tribe that they're going through breast cancer treatment and they didn't know where else to turn. So they actually come to us, even though that's not, I mean, that's technically not what we're about, but that's what we're there for, is to be there to lift one another up and support one another in life.
That's awesome. And if people can't exercise now because the gyms are closed, what do you recommend for your tribe? What do you recommend for people that are at home?
Yeah. So first of all, YouTube is amazing. There's so many different home workouts that you can do, but all of our programs, all of our Plant Chicks programs, they're not only plant-based nutrition, they're also exercise. So we have different exercises that you can do in the comfort of your own home, or when we're not in the pandemic, while you're traveling in a hotel or at the gym. You can do them anywhere.
Love it. Jackie, I appreciate the time. It's great. It's great actually having people come in to visit us. You can come back anytime.
I will definitely come back. It's so good to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations on your community.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.